When you take a look at the vision for Hong Kong as a financial hub and logistics hub, what do you see that's different from the time when you developed Lan Kwai Fong decades ago?
Well, obviously, at the moment, because things are, we've gone through 2 months, 6 months of protests, and then this coronavirus. The business obviously has changed. You've got many new people coming to Hong Kong, many people leaving Hong Kong. Also, the fact that you have many more mainland Chinese entrepreneurs and young people coming to work in Hong Kong, the mix of people have changed as well. So what I found is that the area has changed, is changing, but still continues to be vibrant.
But given the experience that Hong Kong has gone through, whether it's the U.S.-China trade war or the ongoing protests, now the outbreak of coronavirus, is it time for the city to diversify away from its dependence on the mainland?
Well, easier said than done. The problem is it is one country, two systems. We are part of China. You have 7.5 million people in Hong Kong. China has a huge market, 1.4 billion people. You have every country in the world, every businessman in the world wanting to get into China, do business with China. You can see between the trade war between U.S. and China, you can see how much trade between both countries really passes through every year. And so I think the fact that Hong Kong needs to diversify, of course, at the moment it's just financial services that is the big breadwinner here in Hong Kong, and tourism, of course. But we get 65 to 70 million tourists a year, 80% from China. And Hong Kong's economy has really been based around that for retail, tourism, F&B, all these things, property sales. It's all been the mainland Chinese that have driven the market here. Hong Kong, as I say, 7.5 million people is a small amount of people. But I think that going forward, Hong Kong needs to get more into digital, into the world. China is so far advanced with the digital world at the moment, and Hong Kong, we can supply that. The other strength for Hong Kong, the future, is the Greater Bay Area. Greater Bay Area is something that China has been promoting. It's 70 million people, all within 1.5 to 2 hour radius of Hong Kong and Macau, and they had a GDP last year of 1.5 trillion US dollars. So you've got the connectivity is really great. That Hong Kong will remain as the financial center. Shenzhen will be the IT center, kind of like the Silicon Valley. And so the potential is really the Greater Bay Area for Hong Kong and Macau.
Alan, I'm wondering, when it comes to your tenants, I know you've offered up, rental support and some respite for them. Are you seeing the pain point still play out? And I'm wondering, out of the people that lease your properties in LKF, how many are going to survive this downturn?
Well, the problem is I've already seen some closing down. Many I've had to give concessions for rent, not just myself, but probably every shopping center. The tourism has really hurt the city very badly. Once the borders were closed, except for 3 points, we used to have 100,000 people a day coming to Hong Kong between tourists and locals traveling back and forth to China. Today, because of the closure of the border, you have 3,000 people a day. That hurts very dramatically. And I think that going forward, it's going to cause a lot of pain. Although we have seen in the last 2 weeks, we have seen a slight uptrend of people starting to come out again. I think 95% of the people in Hong Kong are wearing masks, and that kind of gives them a comfort level. And so I think that you can feel now it's not it's on a daily basis. Some days are better than others, but you do see a better this past weekend. Things were a little bit better. And so people are going out at night. Everyone's been advised not to congregate in big groups. I must say the Hong Kong government has done a great job in really keeping this to a minimum. So far, as of this morning, we've only got 100 cases of coronavirus with a city of 7.5 million people, only 2 deaths. From the last 2 months. And so I think the Hong Kong government has really done very, very well, including the Macau government. They also have only 10 cases, 7 have already recovered. So, and this morning, one of the doctors at the Hong Kong U was saying that both Hong Kong and Singapore are kind of the bellwether for protection of the coronavirus. I think what's happening in the rest of the world at the moment is that Hong Kong, China, and Macau have gone through this in the last 2 months, and now the rest of the world has kind of caught the cold, and it's spreading throughout the world. Some experts, and China has done a great job also in isolating this to who. And so we'll see what happens going forward. Some of the experts in China have said they expect by end of April that things will calm down, and that's what we're all hoping for. Otherwise, many, many businesses will close down, and not just in Hong Kong, but around the world. And I can't see recovering. Probably recession coming, not probably, but definitely recession coming as it spreads around the world, and with a lot of pain. And probably not till the fourth quarter will you see some kind of a recovery.
Alan.